Have you ever thought about taking a gap year, maybe doing some traveling or going on an adventure? Hi, I'm Hanlie, and welcome to the Guide to Gap Year podcast, where we will explore all opportunities for you to turn your gap year dreams into a reality. Today, we're talking to Erik, who participated in the H2A program. He worked on a farm in Bloomfield, Kentucky. Thank you for joining the podcast today. I'm so excited to have you here and have you tell us more about your experience as a farmer in the USA. So I would like for you to introduce yourself to the audience and just tell a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, thanks very much for having me. It's really a cool concept that you've got going on over here. I like the idea of it.
Thank you.
The set's beautiful, and hopefully we have a chat today, and then
I'm pretty sure we're gonna do that.
explain everything to the people out there.
So where did you grow up? What do you currently do? Just tell us a bit more about you.
Okay, so I grew up in Randfontein, Woesrand, when I was younger, and then after matric, I went to Pretoria, and then I studied film and stuff over there.
Okay.
Then we moved to Roodepoort, but we had a farm in the Free State, in Kroonstad, where we had sheep and corn and soybeans and sunflower that we farmed over there.
Oh, that's great. So you do have like some experience in farming, or at least grew up around it, and you have the knowledge about it.
Yes.
Okay, great. So then how did you know about the agricultural program? Did you do like research, or did someone tell you about it?
So this is a story that I like to tell people when they ask me this question. So when I was in school, me and my one friend Tian Meiberg, he introduced me to drama,
Yes.
and I introduced him to farming.
Nice.
So he told me, "Oh no, there's this place, Pali. We should go check it out. I want to go study there. Won't you come with me?" And I said, "Yeah, oh, no, okay, cool. Let's go there." And when I got there, I'm like, "Geez, this is actually quite cool. Like, I like this environment and what they're doing over here. I think it's really special." And after matric, he went to go farm,
Yes.
and I went to Pali to go study drama. So the roles
okay.
actually
Reversed.
quite mixed, yes.
Okay.
And then, so then he went over to America in, I think, 2 years after school.
Okay.
And then he went to go farm there, and he said, "No, listen, if you're done studying, I've got an opportunity for you." Because I know you've got a background with farming, because I introduced him to farming. So that's the way,
And that's how you found out about it. That's
Yes,
amazing.
yeah.
So you went then to Bloomfield, Kentucky, right?
Yes.
And then how did the whole process work of getting to there, like starting your journey in South Africa and actually getting the job and all that?
Well, getting the job was a bit of a fright. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it. Because of the other background, I wasn't really on the farm
Yes.
while I was studying. And so I went back to the farm after I studied, did a few of the work just to get the look and feel and just get into the rhythm again. And when I had the interview with Erik Sweezy, I was pretty confident that I'm more than capable of.
So when you do the interview, do they like ask you about your experience on farms and all that stuff?
Yeah, so what they do, they want all the interviews that I've had. The number one question that they have is, what do you want to do, or where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
That's a nice question.
And
that's really reflective.
And it's really tricky. So they ask that question, and then when you give them an answer, they're like, "Okay, so if you have the opportunity to get a green card, would you take it?"
That's a trick question.
It's a trick question. So like, do you say, "Yes, I want to take it," or do you say no, just to show them like you're not there to immigrate or whatever? I don't know. I think of it too much. But
they're worried about it because I know, like in my industry where I work, with the au pairs and everything, South Africans want to immigrate and they're very scared about it, and it puts like the visas in jeopardy for the South Africans, for the people that wants to go after you. So I think it's really important for the current people to set an example for the next people, so that they can also have the opportunities after us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question that they ask.
So, but I think it's also a question that they want to feel like if you say yes, then they can see, okay, this is a candidate that would want to be want to work here more than 5 years. Like it's
Yeah.
someone that they can trust. That
Are they
won't leave
looking
the
for
farm.
long-term people or not?
I would say some farms would, so that they don't have to get new South Africans to work on the farms.
Okay, so they want people that know their processes and everything
Yes.
already. Oh, that's great. Okay, so you did the interview, you got the job, you went there. So
Yes.
how was it adjusting living in the USA compared to like how it is here?
Okay, so when we got on the plane, let me start from the beginning.
Please
When
do.
I got on the plane, I'm quite scared of planes. So I don't like the takeoff. When I'm in the air, I'm fine. But the takeoff is horrible. And we went from OR Tambo to Lufthansa. Then we flew with Lufthansa
Yes.
to Chicago. Yeah, so we
Nice.
went OR Tambo to the Swiss, from the Swiss to Chicago, and then a Chicago flight to Bloomfield. But there wasn't an airport in Bloomfield, but
Yeah,
somewhere close.
close
So
into Kentucky or
yes. And so the farmer got us there, I think at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna think like, oh, okay, over lunchtime, that's fine.
No, 1 o'clock in the morning. So
Shame.
we went straight to bed. 6 o'clock, we're up again, and we started working.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's not even
the
5 hours
reason,
of sleep.
no. So the reason why we did that is because if you take that day off and go to sleep, you're gonna have jet lag.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
So the best thing that we thought we could do is start on the first day, get that rhythm going, and then jet lag won't be an issue. So we were tired the first day, but it made the
Yeah,
second
but
day
it makes
much
it
easier.
and makes it better. That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh no, I remember like jet lag was so hard for me when I arrived in the US. Like it was also my first time flying internationally, so it
Yeah.
was really shocking to the system when you arrive there and the time difference and
And you're
like
like
even
6 hours behind. And
yeah, even like the turbulence that you experience, like it feels like when you're walking and like everything's moving with you. It was really hard to deal with. But that was a good strategy that you had for
yes,
that.
yes.
So when you arrived on the farm, you started working. So what does your typical day look like working on a farm?
So day one was more of an introduction, showing what machinery we have, what we're going to work with, where the bins are. So there was big silos, they call it bins, that the farmer had. And he showed us how it operates, how it works. He showed us the tractors. I think the first day I had to replace a tractor seat as my first job.
Challenging on your first day.
So first day was more maintenance, or the first week was just prepping for planting season.
Okay.
And that, I must say, that gives you more of an idea of what you're
What
working
time of
with.
the year is their planting season, like when they start everything?
So it's in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So we arrived there in March. I would say shortly after we started planting.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe close to June, July, we ended planting season.
Okay.
And then when planting season's over, you can cut hay, make bales, you can cut grass, which is you're going to cut grass every
In
week.
my mind, I'm like thinking a lawnmower, like you're pushing that around.
Basically.
But hopefully something bigger, because
Yeah,
that's going to
'cause-
take a long time.
So if you cut the grass of the houses, so what we did is I cut the grass of my boss's house, Erik's house, our house, his uncle's house, his friend's house,
Oh, wow.
and the grass against the road,
Oh,
or on the
wow,
side of
that's
the
a
road
lot.
till the town. So it's a lot of grass to cut.
Okay, so they kept you busy. So if it wasn't
Yes.
like in season to do planting or harvesting or something, you had
There's
other
always
jobs.
something
There's
to
always
do.
something.
Yes,
And it's
which is cool because you want hours to work.
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And so it's long hours as well that you're working. Like what time would you typically start and end the day?
So on a day that's not as busy, like if it's not planting or harvesting season, the days are a bit shorter
Okay.
work wise. So I would say you start at 7 and then end at like 5 or 6.
Okay, that's great. So can you tell me a little bit more about the farm or maybe like even the area that you worked in? What kind of things do they plant? Do they work with? Is it sheep? Is it like grains? Like
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so where I worked, it was crop.
Okay.
No sheep. Well, we didn't do sheep or cattle or any of those things. There were farms. I think the Bowman farm is a cattle farm,
Mm.
and then so we did crop. So what Erik did is he bought or rented the land of other farmers so that he can
Okay.
plant there, and he planted corn and soybean. So no sunflower or any
Okay.
other strange stuff.
So
And
at least you had some knowledge about that, because that isn't that the same things that you work with
yes,
here in
yes.
South
So that
Africa.
was quite good. I didn't do the planting.
Mm.
I'm not good at planting.
So do they take your skills into account, like when you go and farm? Like, do they see that, oh, so you've got experience with like grain, so we're going to use you in planting rather than doing this job, and then get someone else that has stronger skills in that
Yes,
area? So they do take that into account when
yes,
you
yes.
apply for the job.
Yeah, because they're not gonna take if I'm not a cattle farmer,
Mm.
they're not gonna take me to go do cattle.
Okay.
So if I do crop, I'll go do crop farming over there. It'll be much easier for me as well because it's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that you are also going to try and farm again,
Yes.
but that you don't have the experience in the kind of farming that they do. I think it's going to be a rice farm or something.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, if there's like someone that's thinking about doing this program and they don't necessarily have the skills of working on the farm, maybe they grew up in the city, but they're like hardworking and motivated, would someone like that fit for a program like this?
Anyone can be fit to go farm in America, but I would say I know there's a program that teaches you everything of farming in the States or just general farming.
Oh, that's great.
So if you know someone that has a farm, I would say in your off time or within vacations or whatever, even if you're still in school, go to the farm, work there 2-3 weeks just to see how it is, what the feel is. Do you like this? Because if you get there
Yeah.
and you, or if you didn't do it over here and you do it in the States and you don't like it, that's a pretty
It
big
is.
penny to go
It's
do
hard
something that
because
you
you
don't like.
obviously also have cost involved in going there. So,
Yes.
and then you
And
spend all that
obviously-
money and then you come back like just giving up after a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
And you don't want to have like a bad reputation for South Africans that's working there. So,
Why do you think they prefer South Africans over other countries?
okay, so there are Mexicans that work in America that I've dealt with. But the newer generation of Americans don't really want to work on the farm. So there's no...
Okay.
And why they prefer South Africans is because they see us as more hardworking than, let's say, the Mexicans. I don't know if it's a bit incorrect to say that, but
It's
it's what I've heard.
assumptions. Like,
Yes.
I also know from like the program that I participated in that there is certain assumptions made on certain countries. For example, like when you au pair and you have to drive, they pick South Africans because we have strong driving skills.
Yes.
But let's say Asian girls, they don't necessarily drive as much because they have public transportation. So they don't think they're strong drivers, but they can actually be. So I think like assumptions also play like a role in like in like what they want. So would you say like South Africans also have like the qualities that they're looking for, and like strong discipline and hard work, and I don't know, like all the skills? Like I think South Africans have a mindset of not giving up. Like they really want to make things work when they have an opportunity like this.
I think the biggest thing is that they see South Africans as hard workers. We're not scared of work. We want to work, especially when we're there, because you get paid per hour. So
That's nice.
yeah, so I'm not going to be there. Nah, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to work. If it's 70 hours a week, I'm there. I know the one guy told me on the rice farm, actually, when I had the interview, he said they had one shift that was 36 hours long on the clock.
Oh, wow.
And that was in harvesting season. So 36 hours of
Okay, so
harvesting in a tractor the whole time.
When you get there, you need to be in the mindset that work is going to be your top priority.
Bread and butter.
So this isn't a program that you choose if you want to go explore the USA.
No, not at all. No, you'll never. When I was in Bloomfield, the town we were in had nothing. So the best thing that you could have done was Tempin bowling, and you had to write your own score on a piece of paper.
That's great. Oh my word, that is a really, really small town.
No, it was, and it's all town. There's no young people. We were the youngest people there.
So you weren't the only person on the farm. Were there other people on the farm also from South Africa?
Yeah, so we were three. The one was Tian Meiberg, my friend, and the other one was Jason Roo, my other friend. So we were three friends on the farm.
So you mentioned previously that the community there was more older people. How did you find that? Was it easy to adapt and integrate into the community?
So, yes, where I was, there was no South Africans close to us. Oh, well, there was, but we didn't really meet them. And there was this one guy, Scott Goodlet. Now he's your proper redneck. You know, he has the rifle at the back of his bucky, and he pulls it out when he sees something and just shoots a coon or whatever. And it's a weird thing, but talking and interacting with him felt more close to home than talking to Erik, the owner of the farm.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why.
Did you and your friends actually have time? I know that we discussed that it is a lot of work on the farm, but do you have time to go to a pub or like to see I want to say the city or the town? I don't know what it
Okay.
was, but do you have time to explore that, or is this more focused on the work aspect, this program?
I would say it's more of the work aspect. Where I found my experience was more work. So when you get there, you get a house and you get a car that you can use
Okay, that's
for
great. So
personal use.
do you have time for personal use for the car if you're working the whole time?
Well, they weren't unreasonable. So they gave us time to go to the shops, buy groceries, look
Okay.
around, buy stuff for fishing, because that's the extent. That was the most fun thing that we could have done, was go fishing on Uncle Sunny's pond.
That's nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so you do have some time to do things other than actual farming.
Yes.
I do want to touch on like adapting to living in the USA. So how was it cultural wise? And I mean, like if you grew up on a farm and everything, obviously your Afrikaans is very strong. So how was it like suddenly speaking English the whole time as well? Like how did you deal with all of that?
Well, luckily I didn't have to speak English the whole time.
Because you had your friends with
because
you.
my South African friends were there. We spoke Afrikaans together, but when the boss was there, or when Scott was there, we spoke English just to be, not
Yeah.
rude. We don't want to be rude and not understand us, if
Yes.
that makes sense. So for me, it was quite easy because with my acting background, I took it upon myself on learning their type of language.
Is there
how
like
they speak.
different terminology that they use on the farm or just like overall?
Yes, there is a bit of a gap when it comes to that, especially when you're in the workshop. You don't really understand what they want, but you get it quite quickly.
Yeah, you pick up on it.
Yeah, so what I did is I studied or just started using their accent in the beginning so I can get used to how they talk and how they speak. And then afterwards, I just took that and made it my own.
Yeah.
So still have my South African accent that I have now and just complement it with the American accent, if that makes sense. So with that, the language barrier that we have is a bit smaller so that we can understand each other better.
That's important. Like,
Yes.
I know from the program that I did, communication is very important because a lot of things can go wrong if you don't talk about certain things.
Yes.
Do you find that is important as well in the agricultural environment?
Most definitely. If you don't have communication with boss man, you're gonna
You're
suffer.
gonna have a hard time.
Yes, yeah, no, you're gonna suffer.
Okay, so I want to ask you, like, if you look back on your journey working on the farm, was there any particular challenges that you had to face or deal with? And then how did you deal with them? How can you advise people wanting to do this program to face those challenges?
The biggest challenge that I think everyone faces that I've seen in the H2A program is missing your home and the people you love being here. because you away for a very long time. And
Homesickness, it's a big
yes,
thing.
and you can't speak to them because of the time gap. So if you talk to them, they're ready to go to bed. They don't really want to talk all the time. So missing home is a big thing. I would say the best thing that you can do with that is just chat to your friends if you've got friends over there. Um, call home if they can answer. That's great. But focus on the work.
Yeah.
Try,
Keep
try, yeah.
busy.
Try and get your mindset so that you just focus on the work. You know you're gonna see them over December.
Yes.
You're gonna be there. So it's a small sacrifice to make to make them happy and your life happy.
It's also hard because when you are feeling homesick, you kind of have to make the sacrifice by going to bed late or getting up early to keep in touch with people. But with that, you also lose touch with people if you go and do something like this, because it's hard keeping in touch with your friends and your family. Did you experience that? I know when I went abroad, when I came back, I was barely talking to anyone that I talked to before. Like,
Yeah.
I had to make new friends when I came back.
So one of my friends, Richard, that studied with me, when I was on the road, let's say I had to drive like 6 hours into another state to get a part for the tractor or whatever.
Yes.
Not to get tired, I would call someone. And
Okay, yeah.
I usually tried calling Richard, but he never answered because of the time difference.
Yes, it's difficult. People don't understand that.
Yeah, so I thought, yes, this poople, he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to speak to me. So then, we kind of lost the connection and the bond we had of when we studied.
It's hard. It's really hard to upkeep relationships when you are so far apart from everyone, and even like your routine changes. So it makes everything kind of a challenge with your family back home and your friends back home. So working on the farm, they probably don't use like all the same technology and all the same methods that we use here. Did they provide any sort of training when you went there?
No.
Okay, so someone looking to do this program will have to kind of like figure it out themselves when they get there, or they have to practice that skills that's necessary for going there before they actually go to the USA.
So there is a technology gap between there and here, especially on our farm, the Free State. We have the old equipment, these oaks have GPSs and all those type
I
of
heard
stuff.
there's really cool technology on some of the tractors and stuff that they use.
So there's really cool stuff. My boss and Tian, because he was there for a year. We got into the tractor and this is their training session. Okay, sit in the tractor. This is where you put it on. Okay. This, you take the arm out. This, you take the arm back in. You press this, it sprays. Cheers.
And that's all they told you. And then you have to figure it out.
You get there, you're in the field.
You'd think they give you a little bit more training on like expensive equipment. So like, do you have like the responsibility or the liability if you break that thing? Do you have to pay for it, or do they have insurance for that?
So we didn't pay for it. One thing about a farm is stuff always breaks. It's never going to be 100% fine. Never, ever, ever. So stuff break, that happens. So all you need to do is you need to go fix it so you can get back in the field again.
Oh, wow. Okay. So someone doing this, don't expect any training, just expect to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. When you did this program, did you explore other opportunities, for example, like the agricultural program in Australia or in Europe, or did you know from the start that you wanted to do USA?
I haven't got much info on working like in Australia or Europe or those places.
So you never did like some research to see if there's any other opportunities. You just heard from your friend and then you decided like, you'll just go to the USA.
Yeah.
You'll just trust him.
So I tried doing research of farming like in the Netherlands or in Australia or whatever. But it's a hard market. The USA market is a bit better because there's a lot of programs or agents that can get you into America, like H2A, Farm for no, HTA is the program. Farm for USA, contractors, or so there's a lot of different options for agents, and most of them point to the USA.
Okay. So would you suggest to someone looking to do this program to work through an agency?
Most definitely.
I was going to say, or do it yourself, but okay, an agency. So what does the agency assist with when you work through them?
So what you do is you apply, and then they send you a form that you need to fill in. Like, are you immigrant? Do you have a criminal record? All those much needed questions.
So you need to do like a police clearance for your application or not?
I didn't have to. I don't know if there's maybe other people that have to.
I know some of the agencies require you to do that.
Yes, I wasn't. I didn't have to because I didn't have anything against my name or.
Okay.
So very clean record. Hopefully it stays like that. So then you just fill in the forms and you get put onto their database with a video of yourself, like introducing yourself, what you did, who you are, what your skills. They call it unpacking your toolbox. So
it's creative.
Yes. So that's what you basically do in the video. And then you on the list, and then the farmer in the USA goes through that list and see who's the perfect candidate for
Okay,
his
that's
farm.
great. And then you set up interviews with the farmer and
He will set the interview with you.
okay, great. And
Yes.
then in terms of cost, like how much are we talking about? Are we looking at like a budget of 15,000 or 40, or are we looking even
To
higher
get
numbers?
over.
Yeah.
So it's quite high numbers. You can expect anything from like 25 and up.
Oh wow.
25
that's
is still
expensive.
low, so that's
I think
you're
that's
getting a deal.
expensive.
Yeah,
Like
but you get a deal there. But that's the problem though, is you need to book to get there and back.
yes.
So a double flight.
Your
What do you call
flights,
it?
the return flights.
Yes, just both flights or from the beginning. So
Do they,
that
do they reimburse you for that, or is that
Yes.
expense on yourself?
so you pay it now. When you arrive in the USA, they pay you half of that
Okay.
ticket, so that you have money for, let's say, groceries or whatever you need, or cell phone.
Okay, so you have the flight expenses and you had to pay your visa as well, right?
They pay for everything afterwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So you just need the initial budget for the program and then
Yes.
basically you get reimbursed.
Yes.
That's nice. In terms of making money there, is it worth spending all this money going to do the program, or would you say it's not worth it? Do you get to save money, bring some money home?
I would say going there to make money is the best thing that you can do. But you can't just go there, not know anything, and expect that you're going to stay there.
Yeah, no, I get that. So, okay, so if you're looking to do this program, it's not a program to explore the USA.
No.
It falls more under the travel work program, where if you're looking for a way to go earn some money, but kind of like break your comfort zone and just like travel a bit, this is something that you can consider, right?
So there's no seeing.
Your sightseeing is not a
sightseeing is
thing. You're
out, yeah.
working.
So the thing that they talk about, another day, another dollar, you're there to make money.
That's a nice
So,
way to
yeah.
put it.
Yeah, you're not going to make friends over there. Well, you're going to make friends, but your number one priority is to make money and to bring it back to your family.
So if you look back at your program, what would you say is one of your best memories?
Yes, we had this shitty inside joke, and me and Tian. So with the one implement, it was a cutter for the grass, for hay.
Yes.
And what you need to do is, after the implement has been standing there over the winter, you need to slip the clutch of the equipment.
Yes.
So you loosen it a bit, put it on, and let the clutch slip. Otherwise, it's going to lock tight. And
Okay.
then you're going to have to do everything all over and buy a new clutch, everything.
I'm sorry, I'm nodding, but I'm like,
clutch
I don't know
plates.
what it is.
No, but anyway.
you go ahead.
And we had this stupid song.
Do you wanna perform it?
So, do you remember Chiff and Chuff?
Yes, I do.
So we stood there. We were pretty bored because it's a stupid work to do. So we stood there and created the song. Ons se slip en clutch. I'm also best at Mikey. We just sang the song the whole day. Just to have like a good feeling and just be happy the whole day. And that's something that you need to do. You need to make it work for
Fun.
yourself. Yeah, you need to make it fun, because it's hard work the whole time, and you're gonna burn yourself out when you don't. If you don't make it fun, yes, you're not gonna
My
last.
thing is always, doesn't matter what program you do. If you do like au pairing for the culture exchange and the travel opportunities, you go work on a cruise ship, you do farming. I think one of the best things to keep in mind is to have an open mindset.
Yes.
We talk about it in the previous episode, but I think mindset plays such a big role in making a success of any program that you go and do, because any bad situation, my view on life also is like any bad situation you experience, there's something good you can take from it, like a lesson that you can carry forward and use, or like you actually learned a new skill in that bad situation for yourself, or even like just personal growth that you experience in that. So I think like an open mindset is a
Yes.
really good thing, because I mean, like that could have been really boring and you could have come back and told people like, don't do this, but
Yes.
you made it fun. And one of the things that could have been boring is actually now one of your best memories. So
Yeah.
it just shows like it's really important to
Yeah.
do that. Okay, so do you have, like, for anyone listening who's considering this program, what are some pros and cons that you're looking at doing this program?
Pros, you're making a lot of money.
Money's always going to be either
Always.
at the top of the pro
Yeah.
or the top of the con.
So I would say pros, you're making good money, you're learning new skills, you're learning how other people farm. Because I know something that I can tell you about what's different from their farming and our farming. They don't really plow or anything. So they just plant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's bushes and stuff, they spray it dead, and then you plant. It's all they do.
Okay.
It's
Is it
weird.
hard,
It's
like
new.
adapting to that? Like if you're used to doing it one way and now you need to learn to do that
No.
same thing a different way?
No, I wouldn't say, because it's just one less job to do before you plant.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
yeah, so it's not. I wouldn't say it's that difficult.
Okay, so that's pros. What do you
Yeah.
think is a con of the program? If you can think of anything.
Cons are you away from your family.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get a strong mindset. You're gonna miss the people. The culture there is very different to what we used to as South Africans.
Do you have like an example? Because you lived on a farm, I lived in the city. So like maybe like farm life culture in the USA is different from like city life in the USA. What would you say was really different for you in terms of the culture?
If you on the farm life in America and you in the tractor, you're alone. There's no one. You can't talk to a family member because they're sleeping. You can't talk to your friends, they're also working.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
alone. You there in the tractor with just your mind. And
That's
you
a lonely place sometimes.
yeah, yes, you just constantly, yeah, okay, what's happening at the house? Is everyone okay?
Yeah,
How long
that's
am I gonna do this for? So it's when you're alone, it gets tough.
so when choosing a program that's right for you, would you say that someone that is more independent will be a better candidate for someone to do this program rather than someone that's, I want to say, like a social butterfly? Because I can think like if you're used to being around people the whole time and suddenly you're alone, it can cause some problems for you. So would you say like a more independent person would be better for this job, or can someone still consider doing this that's more outgoing?
If you're outgoing or independent, doesn't matter. If you are able to go through those times where it's tough and you're mentally prepared and mentally strong, if you're introvert or extrovert, if you're able to break that gap or that through that roof, then it's the place for you.
That's amazing. Did you learn any skills or life lessons through this program that you are able to now apply to your life?
Yes. And it's the one thing that I think everyone that's coming into the new world or the big boy world,
Yes.
you're a groot mens now, is you need to understand that you're alone. No one's going to help you. No one's going to be
Yeah.
there to help you. You need to figure it out yourself. It's like when they throw you into the equipment. You need to learn it. You need to start working hard. You need to figure out what you're going to do. If you mess this up, what are you going to do to fix it? If you're going to say, oh, I messed it up, and you're just going to walk away.
Like, own your mistakes as well.
Exactly.
Like, that's important. It's really interesting that you say that, because like I feel like across all programs, whether it's money motivated or a travel motivated program, that when you decide to do this, is you're going to grow up really fast, because we discussed it in the previous episode that where you normally like ask your mom or someone to make your doctor's appointments or something stupid like that, like that's small things that you need to do yourself now. Like, your mom isn't buying your food for you anymore. You have to do your own shopping. You have to do like even like something in the USA, like putting in gas in your car. Like, I mean, even doing that, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You can't be scared of change, and just getting out there and just like learning. Like, you have to have that mindset of knowing that you are going to have to take responsibility for everything you're going to do. Otherwise, you won't make a success of this.
Exactly. You're alone. You need to, if you're working till 6, the food's not ready. You need to, need to go make food.
You mean there's no dinner on the table when you get home?
When you don't have anything to wear and everything's in the laundry.
So how then was the living environment? So you have to, the living and working environment, you working all day, then you get home. You need to do laundry. You need to cook. You need time for sleep. Like, sleep is important. Do you get time for all of that?
Yes, but you need to make time for it as well. So when you get home at like 6 o'clock at night and you're hungry, you're not going to say,
So then when you get home at night, do you cook or do you make use of like instant meals?
No, I cook. I want something. I'm not a 2-minute noodle type of guy. It might look like it, but I'm not.
Okay. No, I'm impressed with that answer, because not a lot of people will do that.
So this is one thing that I enjoyed. We found a website that had like Mrs. Bull's chutney.
Oh, wow.
And they had pop, maize meal. And I decided, well, it was a bit expensive, and I decided, no, I can't do this anymore, because there's no boerewors. There's no pop.
It's such a big thing to get used to. Like, all the food that you miss.
When I got back, the first thing I did was braai and a boerewors roll. The first thing. But so what I did is I ordered the maize meal and I got mince.
Nice.
With the chutney. And I told my friends, listen, tonight I'm making food. And I made pop with just mince, just pop and mince.
It's such a good meal. It's so basic, but you miss that stuff when you're abroad.
It was the best meal we had there since we arrived.
I felt so offended. I have to say, like, I found a store. I was in Chicago, and then I actually tracked down like a guy that's originally from Durban, and he had like a store where he made garage pies. Like he made stuff like that. And then he also had bunny chows, and I went to get that for my host family, and I gave it to them to eat, and they thought it was such a weird concept. And I'm like, how can you not like this thing? Like, it's so good. And I remember making vet cook for them once.
Oh yeah.
And it was so much effort to make it. And then they put like butter on it and put like, they tried to make something like a grilled cheese with the vet cook, like butter and cheese on it. And like, I was like, that's not the point. Like, you don't do that. But I get that. Like, when you're there, it's like the small things from back home that really like helps you get through. And it gets you so excited when you're there. And I'm really offended when people don't like the food of my country. Like, you need to. It's the best.
Yes. So while you're talking about making the vet cook and the stuff, Karen, it's Erik's wife.
I thought you were going to say Karen, like a Karen out there, like the people that complain about everything.
So we told her there's one thing that she can make us that, yes, it would be perfect. A melktart.
Ooh.
And when she made it, she did it quite perfect.
That's nice.
So when she brought that melktart to our house and she knocked on that door, I think it was like 2 seconds and it's gone.
Oh, wow.
And we dove in there with forks and spoons and whatever you could find. I'm pretty sure someone had their hands in there. And we just started eating maltard, and we said, no, yes, thank you very much. That was the best thing we had for the dessert over here.
That's so cool. I
Yeah.
love hearing stories like that, because really, like, taking a part of home with you to that
Yeah.
side, it really just makes it so much easier to deal with all the extras that you have, like the
Yes.
homesickness, the culture shock, dealing with people that don't necessarily understand you and how you do things. And it's a small gesture like that
Yeah.
really is like, it's life, it's a life's difference there. So I want to talk more about, you said that you want to go and farm again. So then I'm guessing your all the overall experience was a way that made you think like, this really is worth it. I want to put myself out there again to do it. Would
Yeah.
you advise anyone to go do this program?
Definitely. If you like farming and you're struggling with your farm over here, just go over, work there for a couple of years. It's a good experience. You're gonna learn much more of what they do over there, and then you can try and bring it over here and try and implement it over here. So it's a win actually, because you learn new skills.
Yeah.
You earn a lot more than what you would have earned over here. Yeah, I would say go do it, definitely. If this is something that you would want to do, go.
That's nice. So if there are, since you work through an agency, if there are any problems, I know this is a different program, but in some cases, for some programs, the agencies actually do offer support. Does that work the same way for the agricultural program? If you use the agency to go abroad, are they just there to kind of get you the job in the USA, or are they also there to provide support if something were to go wrong or you need assistance with anything?
If you arrive there and you're not getting treated the way you should be treated, then you can contact the agency and
So
they'll
they,
help you.
okay,
Help
so
the
they do
situation.
support you with any
Most
problems.
definitely.
Yeah, you see, because I had a friend that worked at the carnivals in the USA, and she lived with bed bugs for 4 months because she didn't have anyone that she can contact that was
Yeah.
willing to help with that situation. So it's very important, I feel, for me, talking about this program and wanting to motivate people to kind of like go and have an adventure if you're tired of your routine life, to just make sure that when you go, to have that agency support.
Yes.
You get mistreated if you try and do this on your own, and you don't know who you're going to end up with if you try to do this program on your own. So it is better to use an agency.
Yeah.
Do you have like anything you want to add that someone should be aware of? Like maybe some misconceptions about the program that you can debunk for people out there?
I spoke to a guy, a South African that was there, and when he arrived, he didn't have a bed. Their house wasn't ready to live in.
Oh, wow.
So they were sleeping on the floor and everything. So he spoke to his agency and said, listen, this is what's happening over here. It's been a month. I'm not happy. So the agency went out of their way to help him get a new job in the States. Because he's
Wow.
there for work,
Yeah.
to keep him there. And I don't think anyone is ever going to use that farm again. Because at the end of the day, you're going to do them a favor. So it's a favor for a favor. If
Yeah.
I'm going to work for you, at least just look after me. Yes.
It definitely is that. I can testify, like, for the program that I also went through, is like, if you use an agency, they actually screen the employers. So it's important for them to check that the place that you're going to stay in is actually livable.
Yes.
I think that's a big like danger of trying to do the program on your own, is like you can most definitely end up in circumstances like that. It is sad that even though you work through an agency, that there is still like bad people coming through, like even though they get screened. But I have to say, like, I think like the agencies do such a good job in the USA
Yes.
of screening these people. You cannot pick up on every lie that people tell. Like, it is hard. Some of those people are really fooling their agencies, and you cannot do anything about it until someone actually ends up with that family or that owner of the farm or whatever program you're doing. It's very hard. But I do have to say, like, I'm very impressed with the support that agencies give when you
Yes.
work through them. It's really, really great.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
sorry, one thing that I think they're doing quite good now is there's people in the States as well from another agency. I think there's
The
two
partner
agencies.
agency,
Yes.
yes.
So what they're doing now is they go out to the houses of where the South Africans or whoever is going to live in, the H2A worker is going to live in, and they inspect if it's livable or if it's decent. Do you give them a car? Do you give them a bed? All of those stuff. So I don't think there's many of those cases anymore, but I know that there were in the past.
So do you think this program is safe if there's like a parent listening to this and their kid really wants to go and do this program, that they can kind of have that mindset of they can relax, like their kid will be in good hands if it's like a young kid? I know most people doing the program, the agricultural program, is mostly older people, but you do get the occasional young boy coming from like a farming high school where they actually were taught how to do all this, and
Yes.
they are looking for something like this to kind of like go earn money, get their career started in South Africa after that. Can parents have like that ease of mind that their young kid doing this program will also be okay?
Most definitely. If you go and do this through a agency and the farmer schedules a meeting with you, a Zoom meeting or a WhatsApp call or whatever, a video call, then you can at least see the person, see that this farm is legit. So what I did with the rice farm now, when I got the interview, the guy contacted me, says he's from this farm in Arkansas. It's a rice farm. So I said okay, and I went on the internet and I didn't find any trace of this farm being legit. And I spoke to him and he said no, Rudolph is gonna call me. So I said, oh, Rudolph sounds a bit like
Yeah, like
someone from South Africa, or Rudolfie. So I said, okay, cool. And Rudolf called me and he said, and he spoke to me in Afrikaans. He's like, oh, yes, you're lucky, dude. You're going to have an interview in Afrikaans. And I said, no problem. At least this is it. The first thing that I'd like about this is that it's legit.
So I have a question. So I remember when I interviewed with my host family in the USA, like my first host family that I went to, is one of the questions that they asked on my first interview was like, because I had to drive in Denver, and they asked me if we had highways in South Africa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they were like, do I just drive like on dirt roads or anything? Do you experience stuff like that, like in the US? Like, do you also get questions like that?
So, not questions.
Statements.
Yeah, so Tian again. He's just, if he tells you the sky outside is purple, you need to go look. You can't trust him. So what he likes to maak moeilikheid. What do you say? How do you call that?
Cause trouble.
Cause trouble. So what he did is he told him, no, Erik, did you know, small Erik over here, they have got lion cubs in their house. And all of the Americans looked at me like, what? And now I'm looking at her and I'm like, geez, you're an absolute poople. So I said, yeah, no, we have them. And they're like, do you have photos? And I said, no, we don't have photos because it's a bit sketched. Like,
You
we're
can't
not
share that.
really allowed to.
It's really funny. Like, you can literally convince people of anything because people are so uneducated. I feel like when you travel and you do a program like that, you get very exposed to other cultures and even religions and languages and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and it really educates you on all this stuff. I remember when I was in the USA, my friend from Austria, like, she looked at my profile photo on WhatsApp, and it was when we were at a lion farm somewhere, but they also had giraffes, and I was feeding the giraffe. And it was like eating out of my hand, and that was my profile picture. And she was like, "Is that your pet?" I'm like, "What? No. Like, what do you think of us? Like, no." So I'm always so curious to see if like other people also experience that,
Yeah.
because I mean, it is so funny to see what people think of South Africa.
Yeah.
But I also want to know, did you have like any misconceptions about the USA going abroad, or did you just like know like this is what you're going to expect from what you're going to get there?
Well, I didn't expect of being in such a small town where the best thing is that you can do is throwing pins down. So I had a lot more. I thought there was going to be more to do than just farming and then going to throw a ball around.
But it makes sense because USA is advertised as like they have everything. It's the
First world
biggest,
country.
yeah, and it's the biggest or the smallest or the oldest or the
Yes.
newest. It's like everything has some kind of title like that. So you're like thinking you're gonna get there and you're gonna
Yeah.
get to experience something great, and then you end up on like this really small town.
So the coolest thing about Kentucky that we went to is we went to Colonel Sanders' house.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
the house where KFC started.
That's awesome.
And they had this big buffet and everything. And when we got there, no chicken.
Really?
So we arrived,
The
and
one
when
thing
we
you
when we
expect from
looked,
a-
yeah, from Colonel Sanders' house is chicken, fried chicken, and we sat there with a buffet, no chicken. I think there were chicken, but it wasn't even fried. So I thought, geez, this is a bit,
This is weird.
yeah, like,
But at least you got to see something while you were there.
yes. And I firmly believe the USA sent the KFC recipe to us, and we never sent it back. Our chicken is much more better.
Is.
Much
I
more.
have to say, like, I ordered KFC one time. I was 2 years in the USA, and I had KFC one time, and I will never have it again in
No.
the USA. And then they don't even have like nice spices or sauce. Everything is barbecue sauce.
Or
So
ranch.
imagine doing KFC with barbecue sauce. Like
Nah.
that doesn't go together. It's like fruit chutney, like for your sprinkle pops, and I don't know, like barbecue doesn't go with everything, and the Americans doesn't know that.
If you want a place that has good chicken in America, Zaxby's, their chicken
I've
tenders,
heard of it.
perfect, and the burger, Sonic.
I'm like Chick-fil-A, like on my
Okay,
list.
fair enough.
And the sauce, like my cousin goes to work in the USA, and every time he goes, he has to bring like Chick-fil-A sauce back for everyone. Like everyone loves that sauce. Like it's the best food there. But I'm happy to hear you even though you worked hard, you did get to experience some of the culture
Yes.
and the food and the people. It's always amazing. Like I think that's what makes these programs so good is it doesn't matter if you're working hard like you or like me that got to go for the cultural exchange specifically, is that you always take something from it that you can
Yes.
bring back home and that you can apply to your life going forward, and you feel educated and you know more. Like it's just such a good feeling. Like
Yes.
because I think like people are really small-minded sometimes, especially coming from small towns like farming towns in South Africa.
Yes.
Not a lot of people have that mindset that you can go travel and experience new things. So I think this would be a really good program for, I have to say, males do really good. I don't think, I don't hear really about females, but probably there are a few that can also go and farm. But I think this is a really good program for a young male or someone looking for financial sustainability
Yes.
to go and do this. Do you have any like last advice or tips that you can give to someone?
Yeah, so just touching on that, there is girls that do the H2A program. So there are girls out there that do it.
Yeah.
They do quite good, I must
It's
say. They
surprising
really,
to hear that, because I feel like I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here, but like I feel like a lot of girls are like little princesses, like city girls, like they don't want to get their hands dirty. So it's so nice to hear that it's also like a really good program for like females.
yes. Yeah, so that's quite cool. And but yeah, if I have to say something about going over, the videos you see of the H2A farmers
On TikTok.
on TikTok, and it looks so cool, and it is so cool, but it is hard work. It's fun. It is really fun, especially on the videos. It looks super fun, but it's hard work and it's long hours. You're gonna get tired.
You know, like that's also what I want to like do with this podcast, is to give people like a reality check, because of videos like that circulating, is like you see all the fun parts, you don't see all the hard work or the challenges that they
Yes.
face. People don't tend to share that, and so I like to talk about that on this podcast, because I want people to know there is good things, but there's also going to be bad things, but it's like how you're going to deal with that.
Yes.
So thank you for being here. I loved hearing like everything about your journey in the USA. So looking back at like everything that you experienced there, would you do this again?
Yes, most
Why?
definitely. Why?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was the most fun I've had in a while.
Mm.
The worries was a bit less, you know. I didn't have to worry about my car. What am I gonna do this month? So
It's a nice feeling.
it's a nice feeling just having that financial certainty. I
Yes.
would say it's much less stress,
Mm.
and I must say working with Americans sometimes is quite fun. It's really it's a
That's
fun.
yeah.
It's you get new humor as well.
It is. They've got really nice personalities.
Yeah,
But you have to be open to it as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
There's one thing I want to add, another story.
You're welcome to do that.
So there was this guy on the farm,
Mm.
Gary. Now he's this short and he's round. He never tied his shoelaces. Just to give you an image, he never tied his shoelaces.
Yes.
His pants were really because he's short and round. His pants were like folded, and he had this mustache
Mm.
and a red truck. Every week he would come to the farm with a cool box full of drinks, not beers obviously, but like cold drinks and everything.
Yes.
And he would bring these small, they call it a sausage, but it's like a scone with a patty in the middle.
Yeah, that's
A s-
I don't like when they do that.
But his is the best. It's going to sound weird. His sausages are the best that I've ever tasted in the States. It's seriously so good. So he would come to me and his accent is thick.
Oh,
So if he spoke to me, I didn't hear anything.
it's like a new language that you need to
I didn't hear
understand.
anything. So I just did, and he's telling me jokes. And he was like, I said, I don't know. And he threw the punchline and started laughing. And then I'm just laughing with him. It's just good one, Gary. Yes, you crack me up. Can I have a Coke? And just leave. But he's
Oh.
cool. So what his job was on the farm is if there's deer that came into the crock, he was basically a hunter.
Yes.
That was his job.
Ah,
The
and
best job ever. I wanted to apply, but the job was already taken.
that sounds really interesting. Well, I love hearing tales like that because ultimately, like, I know the program is for going to work and earning money, but it's like the stories that you bring back like that that's gonna like be the memories that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I think like that alone like makes it worth it because it's things you experience that you never would have if you didn't like get out of your comfort zone, board a plane, and like actually just go on that adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. It was really nice hearing everything and getting to learn more about the agricultural program.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's cool to have learned about a bit, not much, but touch on the au pair side.
I have so
I-
much
I've-
to share about that. I'm
I would
always
love
like,
to.
I should hold back. Like, we don't need to share everything at once.
I would love to hear about it though. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope I helped everyone that want to do this H2A program. If there's any questions, please ask again.